It is what is greetings. It is what is named Christmas Eve on the Gregorian calendar. But why am I checking in right now? I don't know. It's been a minute. I want to say some things. One of the big messages right now, this time, there's so many messages. Side note, are you noticing the Great Mother's risings? Are you seeing the Great Mother's persistence? It's like if you've ever watched an earthquake and how the waves move the ground. If you've ever had the opportunity, which is a little scary at the same time, to see an earthquake, you will see waves in the earth. This is what Mother is doing right now. She's making waves in the earth. She is watching us. She has been seeing us. And everything that's happened, specifically for the Americas, Canada, and Mexico, is the mother wound. So some call it the sister wound, some call it the witch's wound, but it is, ultimately, it comes back to mother. Mother, daughter, sister, witch, all of them. It's her. Because for generations, she has been oppressed. For generations, she has been silenced. For generations. I could keep saying that because to me, there's no one who is above the age of 25 that doesn't know the system of patriarchy, that doesn't know everything about what has been taught to her and knows maybe a little, depending on her interests and the time that she has, to investigate the Great Mother, the goddesses of old, the indigenous goddesses, mothers, languages. Also, we're having New Year right after the winter solstice because on the other side of the planet, it is spring. It's summer. It's summer solstice. So somewhere else, they're having a different time, energy, season. It's not the New Year. Everyone says New Year's in spring, but if you didn't know, the Celtic people celebrate. I just learned this recently for myself, who has a lot of Irish in her, outside of the family name, because I was adopted. There has always been things in the Celtic mythology and deities that attract me because I think mostly because it's been so promoted. I mean, there are things about the Orishas that I also am attracted to and love, but mostly in discovery of being indigenous. So, I have red hair. My hair is reddish, red color, reddish brown. And the story of how Ireland is named after one of the daughters of Akhenaten, of Scotland, Tara of Scotland, not Ireland, but Tara of Scotland, named after Akhenaten's supposedly Akhenaten's granddaughter or great granddaughter. And if you know my theories, my theory is that everything comes from here. Everything comes from the mothers from here, from the Amurukkas. The indigenous melanated mothers from the Amurukkas. He agrees. The Indian dog. So, what America has lost, what most continents, peoples have lost, is the mother. So there's been this constructed mother wound through patriarchy and trauma and working and sleep deprivation and over medicated or under medicated or under sleep. I mean, so many spells. Because here's some words. Symbol. So depending on what your interests are and where you're at, you're gonna have possibly two different things show up in your mind. When we talk about vibration, right? So symbol is something you can look at, like a circle or a circle with a square, like a cross inside of it. You know that symbolism. Symbolism. Then there is a symbol in music. Ding, ding, ding. The symbol, right? So again, we have so many spells, so many influences, so much control. Oh my gosh. So what's happening is it may not be visible here in the Americas. And I'm talking about North and South Americas. There is a shift happening. And a direct reckoning of the mother wound. And this is going to look like this. This is how it's going to look. So, last year I said that this year we will see that the Great Mother is coming back, because we will see males that uplift and support and create platforms, and we're seeing it. Okay? So, because of how things have turned, and also because of the planetary energies, which will be in a different video, specifically the moon, there are awarenesses and awakenings happening where the females of the human species are done. Specifically the melanated. Those who have been marginalized by the mind perception of the privileged pale, in the sense of no more extra time given, no more extra work, no more extra. Brown people, from light to dark, have to work harder, study longer, be better than, and especially if you're a female, all the others to be seen. And then if you're seen, you're still looked at as somewhat of a machine that's there to continue giving and regurgitating and sharing. And then when we're like, I don't want to share, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not doing that. No. Or if we speak up, or we're loud, or if we are upset, if we are speaking up, if it goes against anything that is subjugated to a certain perception, and this is where the work towards also embracing darkness, because everything comes from the dark, and we have been misled away from Mother, believing in the light of things. We don't notice the light without the darkness. We notice darkness with the light. We notice shadows. We may not always be paying attention, quote unquote, but we notice when the clouds are in front of the sun. We notice that. But at night, for example, a lot of people are like, where's the moon? Well, if you follow the moon cycle, you will... She's She, to me, is literally like us on this planet. You don't always know where she's at. She's kind of mysterious. She lights up the night. She can also be out in the daytime. And then there's times you don't see her at all, which we're coming up on. We're coming up on the new moon. And then we're having Saturn and Pluto moving into the moon calendar, the 9-day moon calendar, enlightening and shedding light on Saturnalia, which is one of the other holidays. That was one of the other ritualistic celebrations that happen, because holidays incorporates holy. And this is why I do like to say happy holidays, because all different people celebrate differently, and to them it is holy or sacred. And then that goes into chakras, and that's a whole nother thing. But okay, when it comes to the mother wound, what we're going to see is daughters, sisters, mothers speaking up. Daughters are going to start telling their mothers, you hurt me. You broke my heart. I don't trust you anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I am not supplementing your pain because I'm a female daughter, a female sister, because I'm a female. No, that's part of patriarchy. So if we're really decentering males and centering females, there is going to be some rockiness when it comes to the supremacy, supremacy, supremity, the idea of supreme, above, better than, will shift, because we will see our own value. That's what all of this has been about. They stripped her so that we wouldn't see our own value, that we would conform. And that even when we would stand up, or we would see, like the suffrage, right? We would see what has been being done to us and wanting to stand up against her, educate, being shut down. You know why? Because other mothers, sisters, and daughters bought into it, bought into the witch trials, bought into the male is the leader, bought into giving up her inheritance. She's not doing that anymore on so many levels. The indigenous, those of us who are remembering and are finding proof that we are indigenous to this land, not from Africa, the parts of us that, like me, who are mixed or pale people, Portuguese, Italian, including Irish. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous because no one is here without a brown melanated matriarch somewhere. Not one person. Not one. You're not here. You could be pale as pale can be. But somewhere way back. And it's not going to show up on Ancestry. It's not. But we have so many stories showing us how we all came to be here. And even if you believe the patriarchal story, wouldn't we all be related? But let me tell you, if you enter and understand that God is female, incorporate the spell within the wording, fee, male, it all makes sense. It makes more sense. We all come from darkness. We all come from a womb. Dark waters, literal chaos. Tiamat in manifestation, Erishkigal in manifestation, Hell in manifestation, all have been made to be something untrue, so that when we look at ourselves or think about ourselves, we know our power. Society pushes back, but we're done. And it's all shades of that. The female, whether she is highly melanated, which has some advantages when it comes to the sun, when it comes to receiving messages, when it comes to the coding of the planet, that's true. And she shares that with her daughters. And her daughters are albinized, red hair, pale and dark. They are all her daughters. And so all of her daughters around the planet are like, wait a minute. I was believing that. I was seeing this presence of truth in the light, in following the light, and believing in the stories of a quote-unquote nuclear family, believing in the stories that tell us how our particular shade of skin tone has been misrepresented, is the best way to say that, on so many levels. Kings, queens, emperors, gymnasts, astronomers, healers, miracle workers. Unknown. Why? Because they're everything. Dragon rulers, water mammals, not rulers, dragon stewards, where we rode, trained, took care of dragons, griffins, woolly mammoths, bears, alligators, dolphins, whales, sharks. We still do it to this day. It's just less popular and costs a lot of money. These were things we did all the time. The San Diego Zoo, the Panama and California exhibition, expedite, move, change, the military involvement, military forming, the military formation. Why? Because there were dragons and bears and whole herds of animals that were protecting us, the mothers, the daughters, the sisters, the witches. Do you know the stories about the trolls? And how trolls protect witches? How about the fairies? The fairies and the dragons. Also, you are atomic. You are made out of atoms and elements and polarity. Magnetic, electric. All things we used to teach. All things we used to know. So we are molding and manifesting into this knowingness. This is the mother wound. The mother wound is the great mother, the mother of all, is a highly melanated beingness, matrix, goddess, creator. She is the consciousness of the cosmos, She is consciousness of atoms, elements, nature, creation, what we call good and evil. It's all her. And the only reason why the word evil and our perceptions of it have come to where they are is because we are so out of balance and away from the Great Mother, but not for long. Because you and I, the planet, and those who see her and the female in themselves and in us, in the sense of hierarchy or truth. Because Great Mother doesn't hold hierarchy. Great Mother does not require worship. We've all met mothers. Many of the females are mothers. They don't participate in hierarchy. They participate in community and connection. And that's what the world will end up being. Because about 5 years ago, when mothers, daughters, and sisters, and those with that reckoning or that recognition stopped. They stopped abusive relationships. They stopped being abusive. They stopped on not everyone, there's always going to be, situations, indoctrination, trauma, blah, blah, blah. But so many mothers, sisters, and daughters changed their careers, moved, got divorced, started pursuing their dreams and their gifts. And then males started seeing the same thing, recognizing Mother, and started writing books, or those books, those videos, those people who might have been speaking for as long as, say, I have, or others who have been on this platform for years speaking about these things, become very popular very quickly, because we are looking for recognition and validation in our authority, power, knowing. So as the Amurukkas grow and heal through their mother wound, those of us who have recognized the mother wound, working on so many things, Mother says it's going to look different for us. And those of you who actually benefited when everything went crazy down a few years ago, connect to that statement. And those of you who may not have will see, if you've made it through that and recognized some truths, you will also see how it shifts for you in the next coming years. Because the mothers, we're seeing it around the world, where there are female presidents and representations of authority in places where we would consider patriarchy being a very influential political attitude. But it's shifting. And if you don't know, the big news, the Amurukkas will be doing this. What happened with Ghislaine and, I think that's her name, or Giselle Petitcoat in France. I might be saying her name wrong, where she ended up winning her case. Those who were in the trial were sentenced to jail time. And also, France decided to change its consent laws as well as provide roofie testing, or sedative drug testing kits over the counter for everyone, so that they know what's actually going on. And somebody cannot take advantage of the position of patriarchy over the females in their lives, the human females in their lives, because of everyone going along with the abuse. Sisters are done, mothers are done, daughters are done, sons and fathers are also done watching this mishap amongst those. So while things out there look scary, and definitely pay attention and be aware of those things, of course, also there is a continuance of this wave of the authority and power of the sisters, mothers, daughters, and so-called witches. Goddess, not rising, because she has risen. Goddess ascension, is that the right word I want to use? Goddess influence, goddess facilitation and recognition and reckoning, and the continuous upliftment of the truth of her. Thanks for listening to that. There has been more proof coming out too about humming and what it does for your body. And so 10 to 15 minutes of humming is similar to at least, I want to say, 3 hours of sleep. I will investigate that and correct that if I need to. I think it's actually more than that. However, because singing bowls, like an hour of singing bowls, is something like receiving a certain amount of sleep too. I know I've done a video on that. It's eluding me right now. However, there is proof that humming, oh wow, that was interesting. Maybe affirmation. Oh wow. There's people, anyhow. Proof that humming helps regulate the nervous system, brings a sense of relaxation, and the sense of sleep, rest for the body. And you don't have to hum long. So even if you like hum in and out throughout the day, you know how they'll have exercise programs where you exercise 5 minutes a day? You can do the same thing with humming and singing. Just saying. So on that note, may your wintertime or summertime be afloat with your sentiment of truth in the autonomy of the mother in you. All right, until next time, take care.